What's the latest team news?
Well, Ivan Franjic is out. He didn't train this week. Still having problems with recovering from the cork. So hopefully, he's making some progression now, but it's too late to get him involved for the game. Other than that, looks like everyone is okay.
Aaron Moy's all right. He can be selected.
Yes.
Okay. And Zulo, what's his status with him?
Zulo, same, but as I said, it's managing. He's not a 90-minute player yet, so we have to take in consideration with other players and subs and all those things if we're going to start him or that he's going to come from the bench. But yeah, hopefully he can now progress and get into a good period.
What about Moy? Is he ready for 90 minutes?
Aaron is ready for 90 minutes. We took him out last week, precautious. He played the other games with a bit of soreness. That's gone now. He has recovered from that. He had a very busy schedule, and he got a hit on his rib on top of that. But everything is okay. He's let's say fit to play. And look, for him it's not a question of managing. He can play 90 minutes, so that's not the problem.
Just on Franjic, is it related at all to the quad injury that he had earlier? Or?
No, it's the cork and a lot of blood that just doesn't find its way out, and it keeps his mobility limited. So and that normally goes a lot quicker, and they just couldn't get it on time right, and so hopefully he'll be okay for the next week.
It's a big blow because he's made a big difference to the team since he's come in, and there were issues down the right hand side for you last week as well.
Yeah, but look, as we have to just move on, and we know that Ivan is important. For us now, it's just looking forward and not talking about the players that are not available, but about the players that are available.
Well, given, as David said, there were clear issues, particularly in that first half hour down the right flank, do you stick with Miller or do you look to change things about?
It's we're a week further. We have trained. We switched, of course, a bit of formation in the second half. So that was something that it's not said that we now have to play like that. We can go back into another formation. Polly Retter is also back from suspension, so there are other options. Eric Partelu is back. Aaron is back. So last week we had, of course, a very surprisingly lineup in the end because of players dropping out in the last session or even in the last day. So yeah, it was a bit difficult.
What about Ali? I saw he was named in the squad. Is he likely to be in the squad?
Ali's he's available. Again, we'll look how it goes today. I told him very clearly he's a player for the future, and the future can be very quick, as you know. But we're trusting in his quality and his talent. But he's again training and in the squad. So if he's going to be playing or if he's going to be selected, that's something that we just have to wait after the last session.
Did you have to do a lot of sort of patting him on the back and arm around the shoulder after dragging him in?
No, not at all. Ali is a very strong character. He understands that we had to do something. He also understands that it was, in fact, he said, was nice to have those 30 minutes because I really felt what I need to do more to get to playing on that level, and it's only motivating him more to train harder, to see it as a positive sign that he was involved in the lineup, and we have trust in him, and that it's not disappeared by one performance that was not his mistake. That was more that we had some already other bigger problems that we had to resolve, and he was one of the players that we thought would be the best then maybe to take out.
Is Melling okay?
Jacob's okay, yeah. So he got out of the game because he got a nerve that got numb, what do you call it? So after the game he was already walking. It was just really, he didn't feel for 10 minutes, he couldn't feel anything, and so probably got a kick or something on it, and that slowly went away, so he's been training the whole week. It's no problem.
Just on your formation, you touched on it before, and you have over the years sort of chopped and changed with, various formations. How do you sort of do it going forward? Because the 3-5-2
Yeah. Well,
seem to suit.
Yeah, look, I think it's important to have something that you can do if, for example, like last week, we had players missing or players up front not available or whatever, that you can play a different kind of system. And if that's 3-4-3 or 4-3-3, that's not many difference. In this case, it's then 5-3-2 or 3-5-2, whatever you want to call it. I haven't changed that much, I think, in systems over the years. I think we're quite stable in playing 4-3-3, but it's always good to have a look at what's available in your team and the qualities of the players. I think as a coach, then you sometimes maybe have to adjust to that as well, looking at the moment where you're in.
At the start of the season, you had a pretty bumpy start, but you had a lot of key players out, and once you regained those players, you got a few wins. You had 4 in a row at one stage. But when you look at the teams you beat, most of them in the bottom half, excluding victory. Do you see tomorrow night's game as sort of a real chance to show how good you guys really are?
We want to show that every game, not only against the Victory or Sydney or Newcastle. Every game is a test, and we also know that we wanna be in the top of the table. Look, championships you never win by winning against the best teams. Championships you win by just winning the most games and getting a lot of points. And of course, it's important to, in a direct confrontation, especially now, to get a good result. But over the season, it's important just to get as much as possible points, and we want to win every game. We want to play as best as possible, and we know that that we have to grow in that process.
Do you look back on that 3-0 loss earlier in the season at home, bringing that up with the boys at all?
Yeah, of course, because we always look back at the games that we have played, if we can take something out that we can learn from. So yeah, that's something that we certainly do. It would be we have to prepare the boys as good as possible, and even though it's a few weeks ago, it's good to have a look back, and from there on we've grown as well, and they have grown even more, maybe because they have an unbelievable run and they're playing good football. I think at the moment, it's a team it's really made very big steps with Popovic. Credit to him, and they're a team that's now, I think, team to be that everybody's chasing, and so for us to show that we're up to it.
John, Asian Champions League hasn't really been mentioned much at this club, but I imagine it's a pretty important part of the strategy for the group. Is that a big goal for yourself? I mean, I guess coincidentally coming up against the team that won the Asian Champions League last year.
Well, I think if you're setting goals, one of the goals, of course, is playing Asian Champions League, and that's also what the club wants. That we compete in that competition. But before you get into, you have to prove yourself in the A-League, and that's why we're making those steps. We're we're pushing more and more every time with the club to get to higher levels, and we want to in the end we want to play in the Asian Champions League as well.
Have you got some? Have you had to reassess your goals mid-season, or what are the minimum goals now?
No, look, we know, and that's what we said from the start. With all the injuries and the personal problems that we had, it's looking better and better when we progress, when we move on. So yeah, our goal is to finish, of course, in the playoffs and trying to get into the grand final. That's our goal, and I think that's also what we know that we're training for and we're working for, and it's also that are also the expectations of everyone in the club. So no, there's no secret about that.
John, is that David Williams-Malik swap completely dead now?
I can't comment on that because the only thing that I can say is that, as I said the last time, that there are rumors, there are talks, that it's all happening now because it's the January window. There are going to be movements within every club, so because it's a time that things maybe happen. As you've seen, we already got a goalkeeper, Buzanis, and Nintendo is gone. So there's still a few weeks ahead, and yeah, I can't comment on everything.
Are you looking to do any more moves though? I mean, are there areas in the squad you feel you want to improve or
if there are things available with what we think, because we still also have the possibilities with injury replacement, then for sure we will try. But it's not that we, for the sake of it, get players in that maybe are not playing somewhere or are free, but they're not going to fit maybe into our team. So it has to add value. And if something has to add value, then you have to be very, precise and in what you want and what you want to get into the club.
Williams was named in the squad. It appears he will leave the club. We believe that the club's actually given him the all clear to go. Does that affect his selection at all in terms of from your thinking? As
long as players are contracted and selected, that could be they're in contention, and David is one of them. Last week, I told him I was not happy with the last few performances, so I gave someone else an opportunity. But he's in the squad again, so that means that he's available until players are not contracted anymore. Then of course it's a bit hard, but if they're still contracted, they are part of the team and of the club, so they have to be prepared, and then we'll see what happens if something other comes up.
Just last one. I was just going to ask you, is Aaron Hughes looking a lot sharper this week? Because for a player of his experience and pedigree, I think most people watching it thought he was very poor, certainly in the first half hour before he scored the goal. Has he come on an awful lot for that game last? Well,
I think Aaron knows that himself. For first, he was very rusty, and he is coming from a long period of inactivity, and not only here, but before he came to us, he didn't play for very regular, even though he was fit. But then he came here and he got struggling with some injuries. I'm confident that from now on he will only grow, because that's normal. He will have. He played his first 90 minutes, so I take that as a very positive thing in his fitness level. And now it's about getting to a good certain level of playing, and with the experience Aaron has, I'm sure he will bounce back.